Bailey, how old are you?
33.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
You said that was socialism. Could you define socialism?
Socialism is where the government provides basic needs for those through the taxpayers, like through our taxes. And
Okay, so do you
so,
believe in Social Security?
um, to some extent, yes.
Okay, so are you a socialist?
No.
Okay, so do you support any level of socialism?
Yes, I don't think we should not have any type of welfare system,
Wait, so,
but I
so wait,
don't
so
think
you
it
do
should
agree
be.
with some level of socialism?
Yes, but
Okay,
not
so
full, not a full, a full country's worth of like Germany, for example. I have a we had a German exchange student from Germany. I'm very close with her. The way that they run, I've talked with her closely about it. I do not support the way Germany runs their system.
okay, well, we can talk about that in a second, but Social Security is definitely not a system that I would consider socialism. Socialism is when the workers control the means of production democratically, and I do think that redistribution of wealth to be able to provide social safety nets is a liberal idea, a which is a capitalist ideology, not a socialist ideology. You
Okay,
could say
so
that they're
do you?
socialistic as they're influenced oftentimes by socialist ideas.
Yeah. So how would you define socialism?
Again, I just told you workers control the means of production democratically.
Okay, so you don't think it's not something you agree with?
I'm not a socialist now. I'm a social
Okay.
democrat. I'm a liberal.
Okay. But so you don't agree with raising taxes and making
I, I agree with
and
taxing the rich.
distributing,
Tax the rich,
but for what?
specifically to be able to fund programs that people need, like universal access to healthcare and childcare, and paid paternity and maternity leave.
So how is that not social welfare?
Well, those are social programs meant to benefit people in need, but that's not socialism because it's not having the workers control the means of production.
Give me an example, like in history, what you're saying would be socialism.
I don't think that the type of socialism that I'm referencing has existed to the degree that I'm advocating. So there have been socialists have been trying to create socialist systems, but I don't believe in any system that's been socialist other than like I guess you could point to some and you could might maybe consider them state socialist in some connotations, but I would still I think everyone is a state cap. I think every single one historically has been a state capitalist system.
So do you completely disagree with capitalism then?
No, I'm a liberal. I'm a social democrat. I believe in a like a capitalist system with social safety nets and regulations.
Okay, and so how would you gauge on what level of social safety net someone needs? And um, I guess where would that line be for you?
Yeah, it's going to be like in terms of the different policies that we support, right? What we can do as a society, like what's possible, right? What is going to be within the bounds of what we can do. So, like for example, this country can afford to do universal access to health insurance, right? In this country, right? It is the case that countries around the world do that, and they spend almost half as much per individual as we do here, and they have better average health outcomes. So we could easily do that. We could easily
Right.
do a
So
universal childcare system to be able to provide better access to childcare, right, for people in the low and middle class, particularly because childcare in this country is extremely expensive.
so do you believe that people abuse the system that we already have in place?
Yeah, I believe people like Donald Trump have abused the system. I
No, I'm
believe
talking
that
about people, not government. I'm talking about
he is a
humans.
person.
Like, well, I know, but I mean like the people, like the people,
Yeah, Donald
not
Trump
our
is one of the
leadership.
people in the country.
Right, but he's making choices for the people. I'm talking about the people who are in direct, like people under leadership,
Like
like you and I,
civilians.
taxpayers, civilians. Yes.
Okay, what about civilians? Sorry.
Do you think they abuse the system that we have in place?
Yeah, I think that rich and wealthy people abuse the system that we exist in to an extremely high extent because of the levels of tax loopholes that we have in our society and influence that they can specifically have over our political systems.
Okay, so I guess my question
And that's
is
why we need different types of regulations and antitrust laws because it is the
Right.
case that
Parker, you're kind of
people.
dodging the question, though.
What?
I said you're kind of dodging the question that she's asking.
Right. Like,
You-
let me give you an
I'm more like
example.
just
Bro,
trying to
So,
what?
redirect. I'm more or less trying to redirect.
let me give you an example. So people, so because we have, welfare system and food stamps and all of those things, which I think are great things for people who are in need, there are lots of people who I see, who choose not to work because they don't want to lose those. They don't want to make too much money in order to not get those benefits. Where I think that's
So
abusing the
so let, let's
system.
let's let's talk about this then. So are there any
Okay.
people that specifically shouldn't be on the context of our system? Are there any people that engage in fraud in terms of getting access to certain things in our social safety nets? Yeah, there is fraud to
One
some
hundred
degree,
percent.
but right, it's a very small portion, and it is the case that I still want to ensure that everyone has access to
but
it who needs it. And it sounds like Republicans are okay with cutting, millions of people off that need it because there's one person on it that they want to get off that doesn't need it.
but 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 I think Parker, like you're saying, that's a small percentage, but like where do you get that idea? Because I
Right.
feel like
Fraud rate.
it's not
Look
a
up
small
fraud rate
percentage.
for Medicaid.
Yeah, you can actually verify it.
Okay, but I'm not. That's not what we're talking about. So, like, for example, I live
You cut
You
out a
in.
cut
lot.
out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
The Native American system, like our the Cherokee Nation, they
Indigenous
run
people.
like a damn one, but they run a welfare program and all of those things. Their healthcare is socialized and it is free healthcare, and I see it firsthand here where it's not as great of an idea as you think it is. Our hospitals are overrun. You can't even get in for a minor surgery. You
They're underfunded. If we look at countries around the world,
Hmm.
they have universal healthcare systems where it is the case they spend half as much per individual and have better health
Hmm.
outcomes. So as much as you
But
want
they're
to
not
acknowledge.
underfunded though, because the Cherokee Nation is not underfunded.
Wait,
They have millions.
the healthcare system might be specifically in that context if you aren't able to get access to the care you need and that it's overrun because you could have
No,
access to more doctors and more medical professionals. There could be more hospitals that could,
right,
definitely exist.
and they
And I
have built
definitely think
a
every
massive.
aspect of the health system in the context of the United States is underfunded. I believe in a universal healthcare system.
Right. So, but I'm just saying what I've seen on a small level. Like, I don't think that our country could do it on a large level without it getting massively out of hand. I also don't think Canada is a great example because they also have. I have friends in Canada who will come to America for surgeries because you can't get into just a minor surgery.
That's absolutely a misnomer. I live in Washington State. I literally travel to Canada often to get medication because it's cheaper, easier, quicker. I can see doctors, all this
Well,
other stuff.
medication's different, not surgery.
But the when you talk about elective surgeries, yes, it may take more time, but actual like wait time for general issues or are relatively short, and then like emergency issues is really quick. So if you talk about like elective surgeries, yes, you can, it can take longer, but not like surgeries that you actually need. So if you're talking about getting a nose job, yes, that'll take longer. But if you're talking about like you break a bone or, you need ACL repair or whatever, like that's different.
Right.
But,
Um, and I wasn't just trying to talk about healthcare. I just was saying welfare programs in general. I think the way it gets used is people choose not to work and enter into the workforce when they're being funded completely, and they choose to stay in an impoverished lifestyle because it's free and they don't have to work. And
So
that's
how
where
about
I
this? So,
think
so
we
then
get
is
into
your
addressing.
idea that social programs lead to more poverty?
Yes, it does,
Can you
one
give me
hundred
any
percent.
evidence of that?
I just did with where I live. It's the
No,
poorest
no,
county
that's an
in
anecdotal
Oklahoma.
experience. I'm asking like any sources overall. Like, could you give me a study that indicates that Medicaid access increases the rates of poverty, or Social Security
Well, I guess
access
it depends
increases the
on what
rates of
you.
poverty, or Medicare increases the rates of poverty? Because actually, historically, what we've seen with every single one of these systems is that they've radically reduced poverty in this country.
Okay, but what do you consider rich versus poverty? Because does owning things, owning land, owning homes, does that count as rich? Or that's what I'm getting at, because those countries that
So
have
when
those
we're
things,
talking
they
about
don't own
rich,
it.
when we're talking about rich, we're typically talking about people, right? In terms of like the system, are making over $400,000 in a year, right? And we're saying
Right.
we want to do a slight higher tax on income over $400,000 in a year to be able to pay for our
Right, but you
system.
can be
So
making $400 a year in California and be living paycheck to paycheck. So what I'm saying
if
is
you're living,
the
if you're making $400,000 a year and living paycheck to paycheck in California, that's probably your own like quality of life specifically that you're funding. That is probably going to be the issue. To be honest, I live in Los
exactly.
Angeles, and if you make four hundred
But
thousand dollars in a year, you will be good.
Right, exactly. But what I'm saying is, what I would consider having wealth is owning things, like having it's not having equity in things, having not just what you make in a year or what you make. Like you can be making a paycheck, but if it's all going towards your life, then I don't really consider that rich. If
What?
it's all going towards
What?
necessities. So what I'm saying
I'm
is
sorry. I'm sorry. If you're
is you
making
can
$400,000 a year, you're definitely not. If you're spending $400,000 in a year, you're not going to be spending all of your money on necessities. That's ridiculous.
right, but I'm saying your examples of countries that are less impoverished because of social welfare. I'm saying those people do not own things. They live, they pay rent, they
If you want to talk
They
about
have a
make
that,
higher.
if
grocery
wait,
stipends
if
and
you want
all
to
of
talk
those
about that,
things.
sorry, I don't mean to keep going on this, but I actually read something into this earlier. If you look at the median wealth of countries, like for example Denmark, they have almost 2 times the median wealth of the United States. Right, the median wealth in the United States, I
Right.
think I saw it was one
But
hundred and
wealth would
twenty-four thousand, right? Median wealth, right, and then for Denmark, it was over 200,000.
right.
And also, just a quick call out: when you talk about those other countries that do have access to it, and they pay into like, universal healthcare, all this other stuff, and while they may have lower take home money as far as take home, like their quality of life is better because they don't deal with other issues. So those countries that are more socialized, where they're taking more money out of their pay, they actually get more back in as far as what they have access to, where we in the United States, yes, we may have a higher take home pay, but the out of pocket expenses that we incur are way more and they don't actually offset. And then our quality of life sucks as well. Whether we talk
Right,
about
but
like
they're
actual,
not free. Like that's not
What?
you're
I mean,
being allotted
what are you talking
a
about?
you're
They
being
they rank
allotted
better on
a
the
allowance.
Human Freedom Index and the Economic Freedom Index.
But you're not free you're being told here's your grocery
Really?
stipend, here's your
That's not
healthcare
true.
stipend.
That's not true. One.
yeah, that's
Secondly, as it relates
absolutely
to
not.
this, if you want to talk about freedom, you can't say that while simultaneously supporting a guy that undermines people's First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights,
That's
Fourth Amendment
false.
rights,
That's
Fifth
false.
Amendment rights,
That's
and
all
14th
true.
Amendment rights.
Well,
Okay,
so do
I'm
you
not
then.
trolling.
So do you
Do you,
then.
want me, do you want me to give you the
Because
specific
if we're
examples?
gonna
What
go
do you mean,
off
so
of
do I?
you support someone who also disagrees, because here's where we're at is as a country we're fighting on this on both sides. So your side is also against those rights because you're against freedom of speech
How?
because of because while Biden was in office, Mark Zuckerberg was paid to silence people on Facebook.
No, he was not paid to silence people from the government. That's ridiculous.
I
If you
think
want
he
to look
was
at
Well, he
this,
admitted
pressured.
it. He
He was
admitted it
so
on
when you
pressured
say
Facebook.
by.
pressured, it's literally just they
Because
said to do this. There was never like any like, oh, this is going to happen to you if you do this, which is exactly what happened
Well,
under the
why would they
FCC
do
with
that?
Jimmy
That's a
Kimmel.
freedom
I
of
also want to
speech.
wrap. I want to wrap in Santana real quick. He has his hand up.
I, just like no, go ahead and finish your point, Parker, because I have something else for her. So finish that point because I got way something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like Donald Trump wants he passed an executive order to put people in prison for a year for burning the American flag, which is a violation of the First Amendment. He's actively also a court and determined that he was violating people's like free speech rights relating to pro-Palestinian speech in this country. Like for specific examples, Mahmoud Khalil was detained for over 104 days without due process for saying "Free Palestine."
Donald Trump's like all his social media accounts were just
Right.
banned. They
It
just
was
silenced him.
taken off.
That
He's
has
a
nothing to
major
do.
Because
That
he
has
And
incited
nothing to do with
and
the
shot
First
in the
Amendment.
ear.
He incited
That
an
has nothing to
insurrection
do
at the
with the
That
First
is
Capitol.
not true.
Wait,
That
he
is not
incited.
true.
He literally incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol, and then Twitter decides to take him down because they don't want someone who incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol.
Have
on
you
their,
watched the
on their
video?
platform?
Where-
Let me please finish. Let me please finish. That was not the federal government. That is literally the private company choosing to do that. Private companies choosing to do something is not limiting someone's freedom of speech.
Okay, so then with Jimmy Kimmel, wasn't Disney the one that chose to do that?
Who's the FCC chair?
I don't know.
Okay, then just stop. You
Well,
don't know
why
what the
don't you
difference
His name
just
is
tell
his
me?
name is
Brendan-
Brendan Carr, right?
Brendan.
Brendan Carr directly influenced and threatened Disney and said that if they didn't take action on Kimmel, then the FCC would. That's direct influence from the actual federal government. The FCC chair literally directly threatened the company to take action towards Jimmy Kimmel. Donald Trump, the decision to actually take him off social media was done by those heads of the different companies because he tried to overthrow the country and he used their platform as a way to do it. That's the difference.
But that's false because if you actually watch the video of his speech, it's not true that he tried to overthrow the country.
Really?
Sure, I got a quick
let's
question.
go through this. Oh, hold up. Before you do, I just wanted to
No,
make,
go ahead.
make
You
sure
got it.
this is clear with her. One, he said, "Fight like hell," and to take back the country from those that stole it from you. And then he pardoned the violent rioters who beat police officers, and he called them patriots.
His speech had nothing to do with going into the Capitol and doing that. He was giving a speech. He
Fight
had
like
no
hell
idea.
and
that
take
was
back the
coming.
country from those that stole it from you.
Why don't you look at the quotes that your party has said too? Then and let's do
and
that.
technically based off of
Right.
Pam
Let's
Bondi,
do
Donald
violent
Trump's
riots.
based off of Donald Trump's current Attorney General Pam Bondi, that would be hate speech, and that would be a reason for him to go to jail.
Right, I think
Like
she's
literally,
wrong on that.
literally, Pam Bondi is saying hate speech, inciting violence is a reason to go to jail. So if Donald Trump said that, and it did incite violence because his words inspired them to go to the Capitol and do what they did, then Donald Trump should be in jail by the premise of his own Attorney General.
Right, I disagree with that because it's against the First Amendment. I disagree with what Pam Bondi said.
So you can see that yes, the Trump administration is infringing on the First Amendment right
can
because
see
you
that-
disagree.
I can see that both sides are infringing on the First Amendment because they're so radicalized
Give me
that they
give me
can't.
one policy from Kamala Harris that was specifically to violate people's First Amendment right.
I honestly don't know her policies.
Okay, so how can you say that she was also advocating to violate people's First Amendment rights without knowing a single one of her policies that would have done so?
Oh, I didn't say she was. I just said your parties were.
Okay, so
Do you guys think that there was pressure from the government to silence all the side effects that were happening from the COVID vaccine?
Okay, so when it comes to this, what you're not taking into account is that they were just claiming all they did was go up to Mark Zuckerberg and they said, you should take down vaccine misinformation that is leading to people getting fucking killed at mass because it is the case that they don't
Except
get
it
vaccinated.
wasn't. It
Let
was
me please-
actually
can I
healing
please
people.
finish? Can I please finish? So what's it called? They were specifically doing so to save people's lives, right? They never said we are going to take away your ability to operate and do business if you do not follow through with this. That's a big distinction.
That is a distinction, but don't you think that by pressuring Facebook and other social media companies,
It's still an infringement.
that
No,
exactly
not as an
literally
infringement.
that
losing
is
their
still
Definitely not.
trying. They were attempting to limit freedom of speech.
People
No,
were
definitely
literally
not.
losing their lives.
No,
Like,
I think
the-
I think that's warranted. Yeah.
Well, people's
and-
lives
and
are being
the
saved
way- no,
too.
no,
My
the
dad's life
difference
was
is
saved
the
by
difference is
hydroxychloroquine.
the difference.
He was. The doctors confirmed it. He's the only one that made it out of the ICU, and it's because he was on hydroxychloroquine.
I got a violation for reproduced or unoriginal content. What do you mean? It's literally me. Hello? That's crazy. I'm sorry, but like what did you just say? Repeat what you just said. Some anti-vaccine shit. or not anti-vaccine.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
said my
Her dad was the miracle dad that took
hydroxychloroquine.
hydroxychloroquine and
He
actually
has
made it.
severe asthma. Severe asthma should have killed him.
Wait, I'm sorry.
He
I'm
fought
sorry.
them. They wanted to put him
Can
on
you
a
give me
vent.
any evidence that hydroxychloroquine was effective at dealing with COVID?
Yeah, it helped my dad. The
No,
doctors have
I
no
need like
idea.
that's an anecdote. Can I have a source? Because that's called a correlation. Correlation does not equal causation. Just because two factors are associated does not mean one caused the other.
Hey, well, all the sources were scrubbed from Facebook by Mark Zuckerberg in
Okay, no,
2020.
the sources weren't. What do you mean? You think all the sources on the internet were just on Facebook? What?
No,
Hello?
it was videos
All the sources are stored on Facebook.
of the doctors in Houston that were saying that they were seeing their patients. It was a whole group of
I'm sorry. Wait,
doctors
if
that
you
were
want to
seeing their
address
patients
this,
get better.
wait, if you want to address this again,
I don't
do you
have.
have any
I'm
do you
just
have
on my
any
phone, so
studies
I
that
can't.
indicate this to be true? And again,
I,
correlation does not equal causation. Just because
right.
patients got better and they also took the drug doesn't mean the drug helped them get better.
Okay. Well, I'm on my phone, so and I don't have any other way to look something up,
Well, I
so
just want
I
to let you know
can't.
there is no source indicating that. I've already done the
There's not.
research.
All right, well, the ones I've
I
read.
just want to call out one thing that I wanted to say
Where'd you
earlier
read it?
because this
Alex
lady
Jones'
is
website? Go ahead.
yeah, this lady is a fountain of misinformation. I want to call back to the whole point where she said the Cherokee Nation like gets all this money for healthcare. That was something I want. I'm sorry to take us all the way back, but you completely lied. Like I had looked that up, and there's information about how yes, receive as far as like healthcare, and there's actual, but it all boils down to what they receive and when they receive it, including federal grants, settlements, tribal investments and things along those lines. And so, no, they don't have a consistent set amount for actual healthcare. So you're just wrong. Like you're a fountain of
Well,
misinformation.
you don't
Also,
understand how the
you
Cherokee
said you're
Nation
indigenous, right?
works.
You said you're
Right, you don't
indigenous.
understand how it works. They make their own
Sure,
money out
but
of their
you said
casinos and
that you're
they fund
indigenous, right?
themselves.
You said you're
Yes.
indigenous. You are. Are you connected?
Yes.
You are. So you have a band.
No, it's a card. It's a Cherokee Nation card. You have to be
Okay.
on the Dawes roll. Your family has to be
And
on
you
the
are.
roll.
You are.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just making sure because saying that you are when you're not is definitely erasure and you don't want to do that. But like literally the point that I'm trying to make is your information isn't right. I'm not sure where you're getting that information from, but that's not right. Like literally because there's a misnomer
Well,
saying
you're
that they received
the Cherokee
$410.9
Nation.
million dollars, but that's from the amount they got 100 million from the CARES Act. They also got settlements from OP settlement, which is the drug, can't say it. But then they also got 1.4 million in federal grants. They got COVID vaccine release. Relief. Like so, the money that they get is made up of multiple things and it's not consistent. So like that's
Right.
not
I
true.
didn't say that. I don't know what you're saying. What I said wasn't true. I said that they have money. They make money themselves too. They make billions in their casinos, and that's how they get most of their money. But they fund everything in this town. I don't know what you're saying. I lied about. They literally have tons of
You said
money.
you said they received millions of dollars for healthcare and
Yeah,
healthcare
I didn't say
system.
from the government though. I said they have an unlimited amount of money covering all of the things. They have a high school where they have dorm rooms and they pay for kids to come play sports here. Like you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's from our government. I'm saying it's its own socialized government.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, what were we just saying? I was responding to a text.
Yeah, I apologize. I brought us back because that whole millions of dollars thing like is the point that she was originally trying to make, and she said that she saw that they had information on Facebook about the effectiveness of the heart dewormer.
Ivermectin?
No, I'm sorry. The hydrochloroquine.
Hydroxychloroquine?
Yeah.
So, I mean, well, there's no evidence of that being effective. Like, it's just an anecdote that you can point to. If you want to, I have a question. Do you think that the vaccine saved lives?
I think Potentially, it could have, yes.
Potentially, no, it did. It did save lives.
I don't think the data proves that because I think
The
when you
data
look at
100%
the
proves that.
history, no, because COVID was already on the downfall. You can't really say, oh, it was the vaccine when
No,
it
there
was
was
already
literally Delta and Omicron. What are you talking about?
right.
On the
But the
downfall?
deaths were on the downfall. So you're saying saved lives. The amount of deaths were
The deaths
already
went
going
on a
down.
downfall because of the vaccine.
They were already down. If you look at the
And by
data,
the way,
they were already
wait, what month?
I told you I'm on my phone. I can't Google it. But I would, if I'm going off of what I've researched in the past, it was going down. I'm trying to think. When did Trump do the vaccine? In January of 21? It was, the deaths were already on the downfall by the end of the year before the vaccine came out.
Not true. Not true. Deaths massively dropped because of the vaccine because of the vaccine. Once the vaccine got put into place, we saw massive declines in how many people died.
Okay.
And per million people.
Also,
Okay.
I just want to call out, I feel like people have revisionist history. Hey, do you remember under Donald Trump, not only did over a million Americans die, but do you remember that so many people died so quickly that they didn't have the ability to bury people? That like literally in New York, they had like people that they couldn't, it was packed everywhere. Like so many people lost their lives at the same time. They couldn't cremate them. They couldn't bury them. Yeah, they were putting them in ice cream trucks. Like, do you not remember that?
No,
Are
I
we
don't.
living in a fever dream where we just forgot about the horrible things that happened under Donald Trump because him lying about the vaccines?
I mean, I have a question. What were the total deaths that year versus the year before? I mean, were there really that many more deaths that year than?
I was just looking at it specifically from CDC data, and like I looked at it and I saw it once it was the vaccine got implemented in terms of us being able to use it, we saw massive declines in how many people died, right? And that was even
right, but
with
I'm saying,
with
what
the.
about?
Go ahead.
What about the year before? Like before COVID, so 2019. How many deaths were there, just in general, like
2019,
deaths?
we didn't even lock down yet.
Wait,
We
are
locked
you
down
saying
in
how many
2020.
people died in 2019, period?
Yeah, I'm
I don't
just
think
saying,
there was.
like,
Was there
What?
anyone that died in 2019? I don't think there was.
No,
any.
no,
No,
no.
I'm
She's
not
not
saying
even
for
talking about
COVID.
COVID. She just want to know how many people died, period, in
Yeah, because you're
2019.
saying there was such an
Oh,
influx.
what?
I'm just curious what it is. I'm just curious what that influx was. Just
What?
because
Wait, I'm confused.
the
What?
It's not even a relevant point. She's trying to say, oh, since there was more people dying because of COVID, then how many people died the year before?
I'm just curious because you're saying
There were
so many.
excess deaths under COVID. So like,
Yeah, I know.
Exactly,
I'm
that's
just
the
curious
point.
how
are
many.
you trying
because
to
he's
are you trying to argue COVID wasn't real or
no,
something?
no. I'm just trying to ask because he's saying, remember how so many more died. I'm not
It
arguing.
sounds like she's trying to say, well, people die every year, Parker. So like, what's the relevance? That's what it kind of sounds like.
That's
Can
not what
I
I'm.
ask a question? I just want to bring back. This is a genuine question. You said Trump was lying about COVID, or
Yes.
that's what you said. Can you help me understand what he lied about?
When
He
when
brought up
did
possibly looking into using disinfectant by injection to fight COVID-19.
I do remember that, but it's not like he was pushing that on people. He just he mentioned it in one news conference, and then I think the left took that and like blew it up like crazy. But like, it's not like he like went out and made the recommendation, like an official recommendation to inject whatever
He
bleach
talked
into
about
your.
doing it.
I was actually talking about something different. He did lie about that too. User, really quick, when did you learn about COVID?
When did I learn about
Yeah,
it?
like when was it like a popular thing? When was it popularly known in the United States?
Well, I knew that when it was, I think like late 2019, I started hearing about it. Why?
When was it popular within the United States? Most people started talking about it and there was a shutdown. When did that happen?
I think we shut down like March or April of
March, right.
2020.
Most people really found out about it right around the time things started to shut down in March. When do you think Donald Trump learned about COVID?
I have no idea.
Donald Trump told Bob Woodward in October of 2019 that COVID was on the way. It's way worse than people could expect. He talked about an airborne virus that was going to be super harmful. Literally, he told Bob Woodward this on the record. So he knew
You're
about COVID.
saying Trump told Bob about
Yes,
this?
Bob
Okay.
Woodward. Yes, literally
Like,
recorded it on the
okay.
record, told him how bad it was going to be. He said it was on the way. He said it was coming out of China. He said
Okay.
that he knew that it was going to be harmful. And then he turned around and told Americans that it was the flu and it would go away in 2 weeks. He lied.
When did he say that?
He
Like
literally
before
stood
it
up
got
and
to the
told
U.S.
everyone
or
that it was
what?
the flu and it was going to go away in two weeks when it gets warm. This was like around Easter.
Okay, but then he probably corrected himself. I
He
like
didn't.
if he
He never does.
well he did go up and give many news conferences about
He didn't.
you
He
know
held super
social
spreader events, and then
distancing
that's why people like
and
Herman
I don't
Cain lost his life. Donald Trump held a super spreader event. Herman Cain caught COVID and then died from that. Donald Trump never addressed that. Donald Trump never apologized for holding super spreader events, even after he caught COVID and got like this
how
mixture of a cocktail of treatments. He literally stumbled his way up the stairs, ripped off his mask, and tried to pretend like everything was okay. To the very end, he fought back and said it wasn't serious, even though over 1 million people lost their lives. Donald Trump lied to everyone.
I don't I don't understand like the correlation of like you know like COVID. He told some guy that COVID was on its way, and then he said it was going to go away. But then after maybe he said that during one news conference, but then every other news conference after that, he was saying like, "Hey, like social distance and wear a
No, he
mask."
didn't. He literally held super spreader events. He literally kept having
And
MAGA rallies. What
and
are you talking about?
and which were outdoor and people were social distancing and wearing masks, which was
Donald Trump wouldn't wear a
which
mask because he didn't want the makeup to wipe off his
he
face. Literally,
he
that's why
wore a
he wouldn't
mask
wear a
up
mask.
until he would wear a mask. His mask was on as he was walking up the stage, and then when he had to give his speech, he would take off his mask, give the
That's
speech,
not
and
true.
that.
That's not
What do
true.
you mean that's not
That's
true?
literally not true.
That is true. That's just what happened.
Okay, find me a
I
video where Donald Trump, except after he got out of Walter Reed when he had COVID. Besides that, find me a video of Donald Trump walking up and taking off his mask. You're confusing him with Biden. Biden did that. Biden literally wore a
Biden
mask,
also
would
did
walk
that
up to.
because
Yes,
both
Biden did, but Trump didn't. Find me a video of Trump doing that.
you want you want me to find you a video of Trump wearing a face mask?
I want you to find me a video of Trump going up to give a speech where he's wearing a mask. He takes off the mask, gives the speech, and then leaves and puts the mask back on. He did not do that. Trump did not advocate for mask or social distancing.
So do you think that masks worked then?
Yes, N95 masks are incredibly effective. And surgical masks, especially at the time, worked as a social distancing mechanism and reduced the likelihood of transmission.
Also, that's a widely acceptable practice around the world. That's not a U.S. thing. Like anytime that
Right.
there's
I've been to
any type of
China.
illness, exactly. That's
Right.
like standard practice until you figure out what's happening.
Right. I was just curious what you thought. If you still think that they worked or if they
Yeah,
didn't.
vaccines and masks are effective.
Do you guys still want to? Because I kind of want to talk about a different topic, unless you guys want to stay on this COVID thing.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
Just basically what's going on right now with the government shutdown.
Yeah, so it's actually the Republicans' fault. It's
The
Trump's
Trump
fault, and he said
shutdown.
it himself. Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear actually Trump blaming it on himself?
Um, if I okay, go ahead. But just guys, just because like he's said one thing, that doesn't overshadow like everything else that he's said. Just in general, like that's.
Listen.
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the President of the United States. I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the President would be blamed.
Well, if you say who gets fired, it always has to be the top.
leader, and he's got to get everybody in a room, and he's got to lead. I heard Boehner before I left say there's no way we're going to close up government. Well, that means the other side just won. Because if you don't have that at least threat, you can't do anything. You can't, and they got nothing. You got to say, we're going to close it, we're going to close it. You got to scare them. As far as keeping the government open, I think we want to keep the government open. Don't you agree? But you can't negotiate when your top person said, there's no way we close up government. Build that wall. Now, the obstructionist Democrats would like us not to do it, but believe me, we have to close down our government. We're building that wall.
I think that's a man who didn't know what it was like to be a president yet.
But you guys understand that Democrats have talked about not using policy to shut the government, or having differences in policy shutting down the government, right? Like there are things on both sides where people are like
Trump
being
can't govern.
hypocrites now. What?
Trump can't govern. Out of all of the last
What?
50 years, for the last 50 years, out of all the government shutdown, Donald Trump, before this one, 25% of the total government shutdowns have occurred under Donald Trump. Last time there was a government shutdown for 35 days, the United States lost out on $3.8 billion.
That's
Donald
because
Trump
nobody
can't
can
govern.
agree. It's because
No, that's
nobody
'cause
can
Donald
agree.
Trump can't govern.
Can I ask? So what I want to talk about is like why we're shut down, and specifically, regarding like allocating more funds to Medicare for non-U.S. citizens, right? Because that's the heart of the issue, right?
No.
So by the way,
No?
no. So do you think that undocumented immigrants can qualify for federal services?
No.
No.
I think there's.
So then, how is that? What's the reason? How is that the reason why the government's being shut down?
Because they go to a hospital, to an ER, and use it, and then don't have documents, and they still have to be
Oh, so to
treated.
clarify,
No.
if someone's dying, right, in the wait to be let into the ER, would you ask them their immigration status before you save their life?
No, I don't
No.
think that's
No,
not the issue.
No, right? So like that's the point. That's why these laws exist, is to ensure that everyone gets access to the ER regardless of ability to pay, which also includes undocumented immigrants. By the way, that's not specifically them getting access to like Medicaid, right? Or anything like that. These are just like literally emergency health care. You agree with that, right?
I agree with that. Like, there,
So then
if
you
somebody
agree.
is
So you agree with
like,
healthcare. So you agree with healthcare for undocumented immigrants?
I agree with setting aside some funds to for emergency situations, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Like, to answer your question from earlier, the reason why the government is shut down is not because of undocumented immigrants. It's because of like all these people that are claiming asylum, all these people that are they're technically, like, Biden gave 8 million people temporary legal status into our country.
These are two different things. So temporary protected status is different from specifically asylum. Asylum, which it can be given in places of asylum, but in terms of asylum is a legal process. Temporary protected status is a legal process.
Oh, okay, that's fine. And what I'm saying though is, like, these people that Biden allowed 8 million people, about 8 million people into our country during his 4 years. Now, these people are coming into our country, claiming or getting, whatever Biden allowed them to get. Now we have 8 million people now. So the heart of the issue right now is, should we be paying health care for these 8 million people? Now, understanding
Wait,
that
those are legal immigrants. If you're talking about that, if you're talking about legal immigrants,
Yeah.
By the way, healthcare for people.
legal immigrants, but
By the way,
non-U.S. citizens.
immigrants coming to the country have a higher labor force participation rate than natural-born U.S. citizens. Okay, did you know that? So they pay into our tax systems
I believe
to a
it.
greater extent. Did you know that the immigration surge under the Biden-Harris administration will lead to an $8.9 trillion increase in the GDP by 2034?
I just want to know why our government has never shut down for healthcare for homeless people or healthcare for
You
veterans
guys don't care about
or all of
you
those
guys
This
don't
is
care about that.
this is
Why-
also
why do
I
you
healthcare.
just
think we
thought that
This
don't
is
care
I'm
also
not
this is
saying we
also to
care or
protect health.
don't care.
Wait, right now it's shut down because of healthcare to get access to the for people to get access to healthcare through the context of the ACA, like what existed prior,
Yep.
and to reduce and so that like the healthcare premiums don't go up for people.
Correct.
For
Literally,
So
the
it
only
does
thing the
count.
Republicans had to do is extend the current subsidies that are connected with the Affordable Care Act and not implement the massive Medicaid cuts that are going to impact about 10 million Americans. Like that's
Yep.
what the Democrats are
But-
fighting for.
10 you're saying 10 million Americans, but they're not U.S. citizens.
What are you talking about? Yes, they are. They're U.S. citizens. What are you saying?
You
No,
can't
they're
get
not.
access if you're
mean?
not U.S. citizens.
What-
You've been propagandized.
Yes, you can. There's part of I think Medicare that is allocated towards non-citizens.
No, it's not. Explain what part.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
How so? How so? How can they get wait, okay, I have a question. Do what are the eligibility requirements for Medicare?
You have to be what, 65 or something like that?
What else?
Low income.
No, for Medicare? Everyone
I
gets
thought so.
Medicare.
Are you sure
Everyone
about
above
that?
the age of 6, yes.
Okay, so
You want
Medicare.
to know what
Everybody.
else? You want to know what else? You must be a
Everybody above
U.S.
the-
citizen or a lawful permanent resident. Wow. Oh my God. You have to be a U.S.
Okay, let me
citizen
look
or
that up.
lawfully in the country in order to be able to qualify.
lawfully in the
How the
country,
hell
that's
would
what
they
I'm
be able to
talking
get
about.
access to it if they don't even fucking qualify?
The heart of the issue right now is Biden allowed 8 million people to lawfully enter the country. That's what I'm talking about. That's
What's
what
wrong with that?
Republicans are talking
What's
about.
wrong
right
with
now.
that? What's wrong with that? Say it.
Bro.
Okay, well, I have a question.
What's
Are you-
wrong with that?
well, let me
Okay,
ask him
do
this.
you-
Let me
okay,
ask him
let me
this
ask you a
question. Let me ask this question.
Let me.
Would you be?
Can
would
I
you
ask
be,
you a question first? Can I ask
Go
you a
ahead.
question
Go ahead.
first? Okay, so if you have a country and you have your own culture, you have like people that have built your country up, and then you just allow whatever foreigners, like as many foreigners that want to come,
Can I
you
answer this
just
one?
allow them all in.
Can I answer
Do you
this one?
think that would have an impact on your country and your culture?
Two, before I guess, but I have a clarification questions. One, who built this country, and two, what's American culture?
Who built this country is immigrants.
No,
Okay,
No.
then who built the country?
black people, slaves. This country, the land was
That's-
stolen from indigenous people. It was built by black people, and then it was maintained by immigrants. That's
Okay,
who.
if you're
Now,
saying
what's American
that black
culture?
people were the only people that built the country, that's just
Free
wrong.
slave labor. Literally free slave labor.
But
Literally.
then after that, there were many other people that built the country. Also,
yeah, and then I just said
while
immigrants.
during
Immigrants
slavery, there
maintained
was
the country.
Also, other people that built the country.
Sure, literally immigrants maintained the country. From
Sure.
Asians to Irish to like now with Hispanic
Sure.
people, like literally
Sure.
immigrants have maintained the country.
Wait,
Sure.
So
Sure.
then,
Absolutely.
So then aren't you
But-
kind of conceding to the idea that a huge aspect of American culture is immigration? So you saying that does it change
I'm
the
not
culture? Yes,
anti-immigration.
but that's actually an important aspect of our culture.
Yeah, I think you guys need to
I'm-
understand we're not, as MAGA, we're not anti-immigration. We're 100% for immigration. Our problem is with our system. It's broken and it needs to be fixed. And I think we all can agree on that it needs to be a better system. It needs to be easier to get into our country. But coming in through the ways that is happening is the problem, and that it's caused
Then
a
why are
huge
they-
issue.
wait,
And that's where we're at.
I'm sorry, then why is MAGA going after people who are going into the country legally, like the guest that's arguing on the
Exactly.
live right now? Why are they talking about denaturalizing people? Why are they violating people's due process rights? Why specifically in terms of immigration are they deporting people without like criminal histories outside the context to come to the country undocumented? I just don't see a reason as to why we would be doing it in any of these contexts. If it is the case that it was specifically about the safety and the security of this country, and it wasn't just anti-immigration.
Also, don't forget the fact that they've priced people out of claiming asylum. Like literally, they put a price tag on being able to claim asylum.
Do you guys think that it's a good thing that we're deporting people that have criminal histories?
I mean, if people have committed a violent crime or bad crime, I think they should be deported on the condition that they're going to be put in a prison in another country. So I don't have an issue with that, right? If you've been held civilly liable of sexual abuse, right, you should not be allowed to stay in the country, right? And you definitely shouldn't be allowed to be president of the United States.
What? We can talk about that if you
last
want.
one got him.
You caught me off guard with that. I'm considering
that last one was a doozy, huh?
Okay, fine. Let's talk about it. This thing.
He was about to agree with you, Parker, until you realize what you said. He was like, "Oh, can't agree with that."
I do want to get back to this immigration thing, but this Trump, Democrats always talk about how Trump has got 34 felonies. He's a criminal.
Do you care about his 34
You don't-
felonies?
No, not really.
So then why do you care about people coming to the country undocumented? I mean, that's a misdemeanor, right? You care
Well,
more
okay,
about
because-
the misdemeanor than you care about Trump's felonies.
Because this Trump's what Trump did was, and how he got attacked for it was like a political setup by the Democrats.
No,
Like
it wasn't.
if Trump was never running for president, this would have never been a thing.
Yeah, because he committed the crime when running for president.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
like, I don't know why
he
you
wouldn't
guys
have
make
committed
this
the
point.
crime if you,
Okay, so
that was the worst point they can ever make. You're right, because he
the crime that he committed was what? He made like
He
a
falsified
wrong
business records in the first
accounting.
degree, which is a classy felony in the state of New York.
He made the
because of
wrong
the furtherance
accounting-
of it. Listen, I'm trying to explain it to you. Listen, please stop.
Okay, go ahead.
I got you. He falsified business records in the first degree, which is a classy felony in the state of New York, because of a predicate crime, meaning he committed this crime in furtherance of another crime.
Okay, but so what was this false business thing that what was that about? He was paying hush money to some chick, right?
To Stormy Daniels, and he was trying to
And he-
hide
Stormy
that,
Daniels.
and he was trying to hide that hush money payment, which is illegal.
Okay, but is paying hush money illegal? Like
No one said
that.
that's illegal.
So
People are
okay,
saying
but-
that it's illegal in the context of him falsifying business records to hide that payment.
Okay, so I think his mistake was that he claimed it in the wrong way. You can, as a politician, you can pay hush money. That's not illegal. But in the way that he did it, I forget if he was like paying it through his campaign finances or something. That's what made it illegal.
So again, he falsified the
mistake-
business. Wait, I'm sorry. If you don't care about the felonies, you can't just say it's Democrat run. It wasn't Democrat run, right? This was a unanimous decision from people in the context of a criminal court beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, so don't just say it's from the Democrats. No, the Democrats had nothing to do with this criminal conviction.
I mean, okay, that's fair. But in terms of what he did, if he did it in the right way, it is legal. But the one other thing I want to
It's
talk
not.
He did it
One other
exactly.
thing-
If he did it in
the
the right
one
way, it
other
would be
thing
legal. He did it in the wrong
so-
way, which was illegal.
So the
He
one
wrote
other
it on
thing
the
that I
wrong
want to talk
line,
about,
is what it
or
was.
I want to
it's
talk.
not.
The one other thing is that when people say he got 34 felonies, it's just the same misfiling 34 times. Like It's not like he went out and committed
so are you
34
are you
different
saying
felonies.
just because someone violates the law doesn't mean we should be punishing them?
I think what he's
I'm
saying,
saying,
Parker, is that if you break the same law over and over and over, you should only be punished one time, not for breaking the law multiple times. So next time you get a speeding ticket, say, hey, you can't give me a speeding ticket because I already got a speeding ticket from speeding the first time.
I'm saying that what he did, if he filed it correctly, would have been legal. Paying hush money to
If I didn't speed, if I didn't,
Stormy Daniels
officer,
is
if I
legal.
didn't speed on this day, I wouldn't be getting this ticket.
I'm saying he fucked up the way that he filed his accounting
He
papers.
didn't. It was intentional. He literally falsified the business documents with the intent of misleading the American government in the, I'm sorry, not the American government, but the
Why-
American people during the election.
why-
He literally did it in order to hide this from the American people while running for president. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an F up. He didn't, accidentally put it in the wrong line. He did that purposefully.
Okay, so,
And if he
so
wouldn't have just
that's
been so
interesting
cheap-
to me. So I want to understand it more. So you're saying that he knew that there was a legal way to do it and an illegal way to do it, and he chose to do it the illegal way?
What I'm saying is you are saying that he made a mistake. I'm saying that he was intentional with what he did. He intentionally misappropriated
why-
campaign finances.
Why do
Literally.
you think that, though?
If he wouldn't have been so cheap and just paid out of his pocket, then he wouldn't have misappropriated campaign finances.
Hey, why do we think that? The criminal conviction. Do you accept the
The-
court's
okay,
typical? Wait, I'm
no.
sorry. Wait, why do you accept all of the cases against undocumented immigrants, right, but you don't accept the criminal conviction against Donald Trump?
Okay, I accept the criminal conviction against Donald Trump, but for me, it's not a big deal because
Oh, okay. You know
he
what?
did.
How about this? Undocumented immigrants who are in the country who have not committed a violent crime or bad crime should be given a pathway to citizenship where they should not have to leave the country, right? Where they can stay in the country and get legal pathway to citizenship and go through the vetting process while staying in this country. Because who gives a fuck? They came into the country undocumented. They committed a misdemeanor. But if they haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime, who gives a fuck?
If it's one or two people or even say a few thousand people, that's fine. But we're talking millions of people.
Yeah, and again, wait.
And to go back,
millions of people is fine. Let me ask you this question: would you be okay with
it's
one?
not fine. It's
well,
millions of people.
watch
It's
this.
millions
Watch
of
this.
mistakes.
What mistakes? What the fuck?
Millions. What are you confused about?
What do you mean millions of mistakes?
Millions of mistakes of allowing undocumented immigrants into the country.
Okay. I was really confused. I thought you were.
What did
calling
you think I was
people
talking about?
mistakes? I thought you were calling people mistakes. I was like, what the fuck?
No.
Damn. Dude, I forgot what we were talking about because.
Okay. I want to go back to something you said
Fuck.
just to clarify.
Something.
So
what were you just saying?
You guys said that Trump chose to do things illegally rather than do things legally.
Yeah, he
Like,
intentionally did it.
why do you
that's his
think-
preference? He's a criminal. We think that.
Why
because
do you
he's a
think
criminal.
that?
Because
Because
he's
the
a criminal.
criminal conviction indicated that.
Yeah, and he likes doing illegal shit.
I don't think that there's anything that says, "Oh, Trump knew that there was a
I'm
legal
sorry,
way to do
wait,
it."
are you
and he chose to
disputing
do it
whether or
illegally.
not it occurred, or are you disputing whether or not you care about it? Because you've said both. You've said I agree that it happened, but I don't give a fuck, and you've also disputed that it occurred. So which one is it?
I never disputed that it occurred. I'm saying I don't. It doesn't matter to me because there is a legal way to pay hush money. That was what he did. He paid hush money to Stormy Daniels.
He didn't do it legally,
But-
and that's why he was
But-
criminally convicted.
Correct, and he made a mistake, and that same mistake happened 34 times.
Wait, okay,
and
so for undocumented immigrants, your response was you don't want the population to increase as much, right? So I'll ask you this question: would you be okay with 1 to 3% population growth? Hey, listen. Would you be okay with 1 to 3%
go ahead.
population growth per year?
Um, Probably. I don't know. It depends.
Okay.
Like
So
if
did
they're
you know
all
that's
going
did
to
you know
like
that's
one
did you
area.
know that's literally 3.6 to literally like 14 million people per year
3.6 to what
to 14 million people per year.
is 1 to 3% per year? You're saying? Okay. So what are you saying?
Okay. So if you're okay with 3 to 14 million people coming to the country every single year, that's way more than came under the Biden-Harris administration.
Right. The problem is
Yeah.
how our country is not able to get them through a legal system. I think that's my problem. It's not the people. It's not how many people. It's the way it's happening. There, it's unsafe. It's making way
Blame
for
Trump.
Okay.
traffickers, drug traffickers, sex traffickers. All of these things can happen this way, and so it's for me, it's a secure thing.
So we have
I mean,
hundreds of billions of dollars to militarize ICE, but we don't have hundreds of billions of dollars to invest in the immigration process to make the legal vetting process go significantly quicker.
Think it should be. So that's what I'm saying.
Why are they investing money
I
in militarizing ICE rather than making the legal process go significantly quicker, which would incentivize people to go through the legal process and then defund the human trafficking organizations that rely upon the border being in the manner in which it is, and incentivizing people to go through the process documented by it taking so long to go through the legal process in order to be able to have any type of trafficking system in the very first place. So if you actually made the
So I'm
system
not
legal,
saying
if you made the system go quicker legally and you invested that money into the legal system, you'd have a significantly better system. And then also law enforcement wouldn't be so focused on, literally trying to deport people who are trying to work for a better life, and instead they'd be able to deal with people who are actually committing violent crimes and bad crimes, who are actually a threat to the safety and security of this of our communities, right? Therefore, they would actually be doing something beneficial rather than literally stripping people away from their families without due process.
right.
Right?
I
Like,
don't disagree with you. I don't
Go
disagree
off,
with you on
Parker.
that. I don't disagree with you on that. I'm telling you, I agree with you. I think the issue is the former administration let it get so out of hand that they're having to do cleanup, and I think that that's where we're all frustrated because we would much rather everything be focused on the betterment of that. But because there's so much, I don't know if you've actually seen the videos and been to the border, but there's so much. I have friends who live down there. It is way
You
it
have
is way
friends
out of hand.
everywhere.
I do. I grew up in Texas.
She has friends in Canada, down in the border. She has friends in Europe. She has friends
I
everywhere.
do.
Do
I
you
grew
have
up
any
in Texas.
sources anywhere, or just friends? What about them sources?
Well, I mean, you can look them up if you want to. I'm on my phone. I
Got it.
can't really.
so if you want to
But
talk about
there,
the border again, if we have more immigration, actually is better off, right? So if we wanted to incentivize people to go through the legal processes, if you want to address the violent crime in this country, well, then one, you should start with the fucking violent criminal in the position of political office that literally pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers after inciting a violent insurrection in the Capitol, and then called them patriots right after that. How about we talk about the fact that he literally pardoned violent rioters? Right, so we can address violent crime from that perspective before we blame undocumented immigrants who are multiple times less likely to commit violent crime, drug crime, and property crime in the United States comparative to natural-born U.S. citizens.
I didn't blame them for crime, but
Is that not what we were
I
doing
just
here?
said that it's gotten out of hand. I just said that the border patrol has gotten out of hand, coming in that way. That I think we've got to fix that. I'm
Okay,
not saying that they've
and how
committed
do we? What's
crimes.
the
I'm not saying,
solution? What's Trump's solution?
Well, from his first term, his solution was to put a ban, which everyone freaked out about, and so
On
that he
Muslims
could
entering the
fix it.
country?
Right. Because
That's
it's not
religion.
just
Wait. I'm sorry. That's literally religious persecution.
okay. Um, it's it wasn't just Muslims, but yes, it
He
was
said a complete
so
and
that
total
we
shutdown
could
of
make
Muslims
way.
enter the country.
I I think didn't he ban people from certain countries?
He specifically
Yeah, it was so that we could.
he called for a complete and total shutdown of Muslims entering the country, and he explicitly cannot do that because of how the law and the Constitution is set up. So he explicitly picked countries that have predominantly Muslim populations in order to specifically try and ban them from coming to the country to target Muslims. That is religious
So
persecution
you
by
so
definition.
you know for sure that that was his intention was for
Yes, he. Do you want
Muslims.
me to? Do you want me to
He
play
called it a
the clip of
Muslim
him
ban.
calling it? Yeah.
No,
He
you don't have
literally
to
called
play
it
the
the
clip.
Muslim ban.
Well, I'm going
You
to.
you don't have to play a clip. It's
I'm going.
fine.
I'm going
just,
to. I want you to listen to it real quick.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Right. So I guess my thing on that is I don't think it should be a religious ban, but I think the issue is Muslims are currently still going into countries and taking over and putting them under Sharia law. So I think that was his reasoning for that is we needed to get a handle on that.
Wait, so you think that he was banning Muslims from entering the country because he thinks that Muslims are intentionally coming to our country to try to impose Sharia law?
No,
By
I think
the
he
way, I
was
just want to
doing it
I
as
just
a
want to let you know.
precaution. No.
Well, I just want to let you know in a lot of circumstances, Muslims come to our country because they're trying to get away from Sharia law. That's one thing. Two, is it relates to this. If you want to talk
That's
about
what
the
I'm
context,
saying.
if you want to talk about the context of Donald Trump banning people, that in of itself would be still religious persecution. That you understand that
Right.
it's
I'm
not
not
good. That's extremely harmful. And to say that
right.
specifically
Guys,
because they
I'm
would
not
want to
saying
impose.
I agree
By the way,
with it.
do you want to ban
Does-
Christian
does-
nationalists from coming to our country because they want to impose their religion on our country?
No, I told you
Guys,
I disagree
the
with
Islam
religious.
religion
We're
specifically
free to.
calls for that, doesn't it?
We
It,
have
up?
freedom
it
of religion in this country. I
Wait, hold up.
believe in that.
Hold up. What did you say?
the
User?
the Islam religion specifically calls for them to go to other countries and
It doesn't.
take over basically in numbers.
No, it
And they
doesn't.
were chanting
What
death
verse
to
in the Quran
America,
says
from what
that?
I remember.
What verse in the
I don't
Quran
know.
says that?
That's just what I heard.
You don't
I
know?
don't know.
How about you go look up a source before you fucking say that in front of over 6,000 people, dude?
All right, let me try looking up a source here.
So what I was saying is I disagree that it should have been a Muslim ban, but from what I understood at the time, it was because we were trying to slow down what was happening at our borders and fix them. That's all I was saying.
Okay,
His-
so if you want to quote unquote slow down the borders, why? What's the point of this? Why don't you want to incentivize people just to go through the legal process by making the legal process go significantly quicker? That would actually require us to make the system go quicker.
Right, and I think from what I understood at the time, the ban was so that our process could be, it could be banned on certain countries, so that our process could
Well, are
be
you
opened up for
Christian?
those who needed, what do you call it? Who needed to come in
Are you Christian?
through the system. Yes, I am.
Isn't it said in the Bible specifically to like go and preach your religion to everywhere around the world as well?
Right, and I fully believe that. I fully believe that we should be able to go into other countries and do that. So that's what I'm saying. I don't agree with a Muslim ban.
Yeah, but so then why would you support a candidate that wants to do that?
Well, I voted for him before he did that.
So do you still, if you could go back in time right now and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris with the level of knowledge that you have right now, who would you vote for?
I would still vote for Donald Trump.
Okay, why?
Also,
Given that
the
you understand
Muslim
that he's
ban was
going
in
to
his
engage in.
first term.
Yep.
Because my reason for voting for Donald Trump doesn't go down to policy. I mean,
Wait,
there
hold
are
on. No,
some
hold
policies.
on. Before you go too far, you said that you wouldn't vote. It was before you voted for him. Yeah, you didn't know that before you voted for him. Did you vote for him in 2024?
Yes.
Okay, so you knew about it because he implemented the Muslim ban in his first term, so you knew. So that
He ran
didn't
on
stop
it in
you
his
from
first
doing it.
term too.
Right.
since
Like
they
I said,
this.
I would still go back and vote for him. I'm not saying it's the only reason. I didn't
So it
vote for
doesn't
him
matter.
for policy.
Yeah, so you don't
For,
care
I
about
didn't
religious
vote for him for certain
persecution.
policy.
Parker, they don't care about anything. They care about their talking points. They don't believe this stuff.
Wait, could you tell me one thing Donald Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
Yeah, he could do a lot of things.
Such as?
He could turn into a total dictator.
Oh,
I
like
mean,
he said he wanted to be a dictator on day one?
Exactly. He literally
how
said he
he's-
wanted to do that.
How he's firing people at mass in the context of the government, how he's saying media organizations should be illegal, right? And he's specifically like literally saying that they should take away some of their licenses, right? We could talk about the fact that Donald Trump wanted to put people in prison for a year for burning the American flag. I mean, these are all things that, like, you know, historically speaking, dictators do to subvert and get rid of the opposition. They've also literally gone after like protests. He sent the National Guard to California to quell protests.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I just think we fundamentally disagree, and I don't.
He
I
wants to.
feel like you can't really
Wasn't it?
argue on
It was
things that.
determined by a court for it to be illegal for him to send troops into Portland. He thinks it's a fucking
Yep.
war zone in Portland right now, which is insane. He's declaring war on cities in the United States, and you're willing to overlook all of this?
Wait,
Isn't that
Parker,
dictator-esque?
did you know that after Donald Trump was after the court said that he could not send troops into Portland, he turned around and sent 300 troops to Chicago. He's deploying 300 troops to Chicago after he was told he couldn't do it to Portland. So he was told he couldn't do it in one city, so he's picking another city to do it.
So you don't believe there was reason for there wasn't? Do you believe there was unrest that needed to be handled?
Oh, in California, no.
No, I didn't say in California. I just mean wherever you're talking about.
In Chicago, no. I mean, the governor doesn't want them to go there. The people that live there don't want them to go.
He literally told the governor of Illinois to he told him either you deploy the troops or I will deploy them.
If he
told
wants
the
to do
government.
this, if he wants to do this, why not send them to red states where people and the governors want them to go? Red states with the highest rates of murder in the country, the highest rates of homicide in the country, the highest rates of violent crime in the country. Red states. Why doesn't he send them to red states where the governors are asking for it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can he prove it? Then wouldn't he be able to prove it for the rest of the country? Or is he specifically trying to send it to areas in which are democratically owned to subvert the fucking rules and the laws so that he can normalize breaking the rules and people justifying him doing it? Because that, to me, sounds exactly like what a dictator does. And I'm not saying right now he currently is, because he isn't under the law currently right now, but he's a fucking wannabe dictator. He's a wannabe king. He wants to be above the law. He wants ultimate and 100% influence. He said it himself. He said that if he could make TikTok 100% MAGA, he would do it. That's what he said himself.
He said it should be illegal to criticize him. He said that.
Guys, Trump jokes a lot, and I think the left.
He's the president of the United States. You don't get to tell jokes about being a dictator. That's not.
You don't get to joke as the president of the
president of the United States.
There's a lot of okay.
Hold on, we're not
that's
saying
fine.
that
You
you
guys
don't get to
can-
joke.
I don't-
Wait, we're not saying that you don't get to joke. We're saying that you don't get to joke about being a fucking dictator. You don't get to joke about engaging in authoritarian actions because we're supposed to take the position of president fucking serious. The fact that we can't take the president serious is an issue, okay? The president
I
is
think
supposed
that-
to be serious. It's supposed to be professional. It's not supposed to be this fucking insane.
That I don't. That's not very freedom of speech that you're preaching right now. But okay, going back to
I
what you.
didn't say the
United
federal government
States.
should restrict that. Sorry.
The president of the United States should not joke about declaring war on a city within the United States. That's not a joke. That's a
Okay,
threat.
but you're the
That's
one
not a joke,
that's
that's a
saying
threat.
that he's declaring war. He
He
never
said
said I'm declaring
said
war
it.
against Chicago.
He said, yes, he did. He literally put out a tweet and said that we're going to show Chicago what the Department of War is all about. Donald Trump is the one doing this.
Yeah, that's not declaring war. He's showing them that we're gonna come in with personnel from the Department of War. That's not him declaring war.
The
How
issue
much
is
much
that
Kool-Aid do you drink a day?
Yeah, he uses the idea of you don't know whether or not it's serious. The type of behavior, because when there's outrage of it, people initially respond with that type of response. He backs down from it, and then later on he goes and does it, and then there's not as much outrage about it because of the fact that we are like way later on, people have already heard about it, and then he's normalized the idea. That's Donald Trump's goal. His goal is to put his fucking toes in and to see how it fucking works, and then later on when people aren't making an outrage about it, then go in and do it, because people are desensitized to it.
I think I mean I do agree with parts of what you're saying in terms of Trump. That's just his style. Like a lot of people hate on it. I don't agree with a lot of his style, but in terms of what he's actually trying to achieve, I do
You
agree
mean
with
his style?
most
By his
things.
style, do you mean authoritarianism? Do you mean
his,
fascism?
his rhetoric, his rhetoric
It's not just his
is
rhetoric. It's specifically what he's doing. He's violating people's constitutional rights. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and the 14th Amendment are all amendments that Donald Trump has undermined. He's called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. That's actively undermining, right, our Constitution and our fundamental rights.
If you don't like his rhetoric, you're gonna be shocked at what he's actually doing. Holy shit! Wait till you actually find out what he did.
I like
Then
what
what the
he's
fuck
doing.
are you even talking about?
I like what he's doing. I just don't like how he talks. I do think he's divisive.
So you like the hateful stuff that he's doing. You just don't want him to talk about the hateful stuff that he's doing.
Okay, in terms of going into cities and stuff, I think he does have the intention to stop crime in those cities. That's what he's trying to do.
Okay.
So
if he wants to stop crime in DC, he'll arrest himself. He's literally a criminal in DC committing crimes in DC.
But then the
and you don't want him to be taken care of. He's literally in DC, sitting in the fucking Oval Office, committing crimes.
And he's the president, which
violating the law, violating international law, killing people extraditionally without due process rights.
Literally multiple boats.
Literally multiple boats that they had no evidence that they had DRUGS. So, literally nothing. And in this absolute fucking sham that they sit there and they tell the American people that it was justified for them to literally slaughter people extrajudicially without due process with no fucking evidence of them committing those crimes that at all would not be justifiable specifically to give people the death penalty for, and you didn't have the fucking jurisdiction over because it's in international waters. And also, you could have literally arrested them. Couldn't you have fucking arrested them? As soon as they got to the United States, why do you have to fucking murder them? Why do you have to drone strike them? That's fucking insane. And the normalization of that is quite frankly disgusting because they can do it to fucking anyone if they claim that shit. They can do it to fucking anyone around the world. That's what they're trying to establish in terms of a precedence, is that they can just fucking extrajudicially drone strike anyone around the entire fucking world with no fucking backlash.
Is that not what we've done?
I want to understand, right? I want to understand where you draw the line, because if he did send out evidence that these people definitely had drugs in these boats and they were definitely coming to America,
what
would you be okay with that?
What DRUGS? What? Tell me which one specifically. Actually, hold up. Wait. You can't say the name specifically. Say like F drug or say like M drug. Say something like that.
F drug and M drug, yeah, like the big drugs that are killing people.
So then arrest them. If it's F drug specifically.
Okay, but so arrest them, and then the next person comes, and you just have to continue arresting people like every single time they come.
Yep.
So
you don't just drone strike people. You don't just drone strike people. You arrest them. You don't drone. Hello? We live in the United States of America. You don't just fucking drone strike people. We don't believe. Do you believe in the death penalty?
Okay, but
wait, I have a question. Are you pro-life?
This is a trap question, but
no, it's not. Are you pro-life?
I don't really. Am I pro-life?
Everything's a trap question. You don't know anything.
Do I believe in abortion? I don't really care about. I just don't really care. Do I think that there should be the death penalty? Yeah, I do. Like if somebody has committed like a crime that's egregious enough,
like violent sex offenders, should they get the death penalty?
I mean, it depends. It depends on like when you say violent sex offender, what do they do? Like if they're out and they like raped a bunch of little kids and
if they forcefully penetrated a woman's vagina against her will and they were found to have committed that offense by the law, would you say that it is the case that they should be given the death penalty?
I don't think that's a death penalty. In my opinion, I don't think that's death penalty.
But
Wow.
specifically having drugs is.
Wow.
Yeah, okay,
Wow.
so
But having drugs
here's-
is.
Wow.
That's a death sentence, but not committing a violent
okay, are
sexual
those-
offense.
How many?
Wow.
Those drugs are gonna kill many Americans.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry. Do you not think?
How
that
do you-
do you not think that the trauma from sexual assault kills Americans? Do you not think sexual
These-
assault
how
kills
many-
Americans?
okay, let's say they had like, I don't know, like a shit ton of kilos of, F drug coming in that
Then
has
arrest them.
potential.
Wait, you can prevent that from
Okay,
happening
no, but-
by arresting them. You don't have to kill them.
I'm not, but I'm not saying that I'm opposed to arresting them. What I'm saying
Wait,
is
how about
that,
this? How about this? U.S. citizens, where
Wait,
you know
but
that
can
they
I-
are.
can I-
Wait,
Can I
U.S.
explain myself?
No, U.S. citizens.
Can I explain myself?
U.S. citizens that we know have F drug. Is it okay to drone strike them?
No,
Why not?
because they're American citizens. Okay, can I explain though what? So Trump, what his intention?
You can backpedal
for
all you want.
drone
You're not getting
striking
out of
base?
this one, bud. Your backpedaling will not work this time.
There is no backpedaling. I'm explaining
Wait,
what
so
you're
by the way,
doing.
if the person
Like,
was
why
a
don't you
German,
just-
wait, if the
instead
person
of-
wasn't a U.S. citizen and they were a German citizen, but they were in the country, right? And they specifically had drugs, F drug, would you say it's okay to drone strike them?
If they're, I don't care where they're from. If they're not a U.S. citizen and they're trying to smuggle a shit ton of F drug into the country, I think I'm okay with drone striking them. But
That's
I'm also
fucking
okay.
nuts. That's fucking nuts.
I'm also
Holy
but-
shit, dude.
please-
That's fucking
please let me-
crazy, man.
I don't think
You
that's
could just
crazy.
arrest
But
them.
please let me
Why do
finish.
you want to
Please-
fucking
please
drone
let me
strike
finish.
them?
Let me
No.
explain.
You're
I'll
advocating to
explain to
drone
you.
strike people. What are you
Literally.
talking
I'll
about? You're
explain-
literally
you-
advocating
okay,
to drone strike
you-
them just for literally
You
like
asked why do we have to drone strike people?
yes, you can put them in prison, bro.
Okay, but here's the difference. Here's the difference with drone striking versus putting them in prison. With drone striking, like that is a much more effective way to stop them from doing that.
Holy
If you're
shit!
just if you're just taking them-
it gets
You
worse
have-
the more you talk.
I'm sorry. You can prevent them from doing that by arresting them. What do you mean by a more effective way of stopping them from doing that? If they're arrested, doesn't that also prevent them from doing it?
Hey, MAGA church lady, do you think that we should be drone striking innocent people and taking lives as well?
No, I think the vote was different because I think it was more of a if they felt like it was an attack on our country, then yes, I understand why they
But
did
so
it. I
you're
don't
good with
necessarily agree
the
with it.
drone strikes too.
But I'm not saying we should have or I agree with it, but I'm saying I have understanding on why the decision was made. That doesn't mean I think we should.
What do you mean? Wait. What understanding do you have about it?
I mean, you don't think that the Democrats have made calls on things like that too? Like, I don't understand. Isn't that what we do? We have to make,
Not
they have
random
to make calls.
votes.
Wait, I'm sorry. Democrats, if the Democrats did exactly that, I would disagree with it. I disagree with any of the Democrats doing stuff like that. Well, I'm sorry. I can call out both sides. I can do that.
Right.
This is insane.
And I can too, which is
This
why I'm
is
saying
crazy.
I personally don't agree with it. But I'm saying if they felt, I don't know the situation. If they felt like it was an attack on us and it was worth using military, I understand it. I don't support it.
I'm sorry. That's
But I don't know
international.
those
people
By the
will
way,
die.
that was in international waters as well.
Exactly.
Right. I don't
And
know
that's
the story.
violating international law.
How many people will die if those drugs get into our country?
If you arrest them, the drugs won't get into the country.
Yeah, but it's
And by-
not
and by the
about.
way- and by the way,
arresting
let me
them.
make
It's
this
about-
fucking
it's
clear.
about
Let me
stopping
make
them
this
from
really
ever
clear. Let me make this really clear. You have no evidence that there were drugs. You have none.
Exactly.
You have
That's
just
the
a,
whole
you have
point.
you have fucking allegations. You just have claims. There is no evidence of drugs being there. You guys are just claiming that as a fucking reason to murder them. I'm sorry. That's fucking nuts.
So,
There's no
I
evidence.
I, I,
There was
I
no
agree with you.
evidence.
I
You
agree
don't
with
have
you on that.
evidence
Like there
either,
has
though.
to be they have to be 100% sure that
That's
these
why
guys
you
are
arrest
like,
them, bud. Literally, that's why you arrest them. And you actually take them to court and you prove it instead of just drone striking them. Literally, that's what Parker's been
I don't
saying.
I don't think that I don't think that they're just like, oh, that boat over there might have some drugs. Let's just drone strike them. I
Right, you
don't
guys
think it's
don't know
like
the
that.
logistics either.
That's literally.
You don't.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And they just say, oh, we're just gonna say that they had drugs. That's it. That's literally. There's no fucking evidence. What evidence did they? Tell me. What was the evidence that they had drugs? I'm sorry.
What
You guys need
evidence have
all
they
this
tried to
evidence
present?
for all
I
this
don't
evidence.
know,
Wait,
because-
hold up. You need all of this evidence to say that Donald Trump sexually abused someone, but you don't need any evidence to say that they had drugs and have to fucking murder them. I'm serious.
No, I agree there should be evidence. I agree there should be
I'm saying
evidence.
none of us have evidence, and that's why this isn't really a productive
No,
conversation because none of us know.
that's why instead of taking people lives, you arrest them and then you prosecute them to
But-
the fullest extent of the law if it is found that they do have it.
Which is why
That's
I'm
why
saying
you that's
if
why you
there
do
was
that instead of actually taking their lives, instead of, you know, just drone striking any boat that leaves a certain area.
right, and I agree
You
with you,
two
but
are
I'm saying you
actually
don't know.
insane.
You don't know the information that they had if they genuinely felt like it was an attack and they had to do.
Okay, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I need to catch up and everything with the donate. This is like honestly a crazy conversation. It's a
This
really
is
fucking
fucking
insane
wild.
conversation. There is no evidence that they were drug boats, and even if they were drug boats, that is not a reason to fucking literally drone strike them. It's not a reason, because again, if it was the case that you didn't want them to be in the context of the United States, you could have just arrested them as soon as they get onto U.S. territory. That's exactly what you're supposed to do in these contexts, is whenever they get into U.S. jurisdiction, then you can make the arrest. It is not to literally, without due process, murder people where you have no evidence that they are literally even bringing drugs to the country. This is an insane take. This is an insane conversation. I can't even fucking believe that this is a conversation that has to be done because Donald Trump is advocating for this and normalizing this within our country. It's fucking disgusting and it's despicable. It really is. I got to catch up. I got to keep up. I'm like literally over an hour behind. I got to catch up. Give me 1 second, and then we'll continue on to the conversation. This is crazy. I want people to know that this is fucking insane and crazy, and that this is not, fucking normal shit. It really isn't. Sean, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you so much. Be kind. Thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Sean, thank you for the $2. April, thank you for the $2. I appreciate it. Beyond, thank you for the $5. Charlie, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Angie, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Sarah, thank you for the $5. Angel, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Odin, thank you for the $5. SKZ, thank you so much for the $5. If that's specifically the thing in California, you want to vote for redistricting in California. Absolutely. Carla, thank you for the $5. Carolina, thank you so much. I appreciate the $2. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As well as let me catch up on YouTube and on Venmo and Cash App and PayPal. Mad, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $20. Thank you so much, Mad. Can we get some W's for Mad in the comment section? Cynthia, thank you for the $20. I really appreciate it, Cynthia. Thank you so much. Chelsea with the $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Chelsea. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And then Tyler, thank you so much for the $25. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Free Palestine, absolutely. And yes, I have. It's actually insane. As well as Aurol, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As a formal federal officer of the U.S. Coast Guard, it was our job to intercept, detail, and determine if they have drugs, not summary execution. Literally. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, it's thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Carla, thank you for the $5. Thank you. I know, it's so sick. It's so sick what's happening. Sean, thank you for the $2. Alrighty. Let me unmute them. Santana, do you have anyone to thank real quick?
Yeah. Jennifer, thank you for the 2. Yeah, I already clocked her. I know MAGA church lady. That's what she's trying to do. And also, Angela, thank you for the 1. You are absolutely amazing. Yes, I think that her husband is as well.
User got flagged, so I had to.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, me neither. Josh, thank you for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Literally, though. Trump ran on being the most transparent administration, and yet people accept this information with absolutely no transparency or evidence.
It's a bunch of trust me bros. They actually accept trust me bros when it comes to Trump.
So, I guess Bailey, has any of this been convincing to you at all? Like to be like Trump's like a bad person. He's doing things that are violating the law.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have conversations. That's why I wanted to join. I'm genuinely like, I'm not far right. I am middle of the ground, and that's what I was trying to say about the drone strike. Is I don't know enough about it. We like you were saying, we don't have evidence, so I really can't say whether it was an okay thing to do or not because I don't know what was happening, and all I was saying was if it was something where we felt it was an attack to our country, then I understand, but that doesn't mean I agree. I'm just saying from a governmental standpoint, I don't know the information. So I don't want you to think I'm for drone strikes on people. I do disagree with that. And so I think it's good to have this conversation because it's something I haven't really looked into. I've kind of stayed out of the media this week. So yeah.
Okay. So, could you tell me something Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
Um, I mean, obviously, if he murdered somebody,
If he murdered somebody, like literally what we were just talking about.
well, I think it's different on the terms of a government thing. I mean, what about Hillary Clinton with Benghazi? Like, what about,
There's
like,
literally no
I think
evidence
there's,
here. Wait, hold up. Seriously, I just want to be very clear. They murdered people with no evidence.
right. I don't know the story. So that's what I'm saying. I can't sit here and say one way or the other. I don't really feel like this is a productive argument because I don't know the information and neither do you. Like you said, we don't have the evidence. We don't have any evidence.
If there is no evidence, there's no justification, right? Even if there was evidence, there's still not justification.
Right. Other than there's things in the government that are classified that we don't get to know. Right.
Also, can we call out the fact that she's been hiding behind like quote unquote no evidence or not having sources because she's on the phone, she can't look it up. Like you've been making statements this entire time that you've been here, and you've been hiding behind not having access to X, Y, or Z.
Well, I'm going off of Parker's phrase of "there's no evidence of the drugs." That's all I'm saying is we don't have that evidence. I literally, I haven't even seen the story. I really, I don't. So that's why I haven't really said much to it because I don't know the situation.
I think you know enough. I think any human being knows enough, right? Just based on what we've talked about in the conversation to say that they don't support it. Like genuinely.
Right.
Like,
and I said I don't support.
Empathy, you don't support it. And it's a reason to say, like, again, if you're saying that murdering someone is a reason that you would not support him based upon, this is explicitly him doing that.
Right. I'm saying if it is not a form of governmental, what would you call it? Like interaction in military interaction, then yes.
That's not a military interaction.
Shooting off a whatever it was.
Was there any type of government or military on the other side?
Well, it was our military that shot the drone, right? That's what I'm saying. I don't have any.
So our military targeting civilians.
Right. I don't have any evidence to say that they had reason or didn't have reason, and neither do you. Other than you don't think they should do it.
There is no evidence that they were drug boats.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. But you can't say something's murder when it was a military action.
Wait. Hold on, really quick. So you can't make a definitive statement and you don't want to like say that it's wrong or whatever because you don't have evidence, right? You don't have enough evidence to really make a definitive statement, right?
Right.
Okay. And you're a Christian, right?
Yes.
And you believe in Jesus, right?
Right.
What concrete evidence that you have that Jesus existed?
The Bible.
Who wrote the Bible?
Multiple authors over time. It's actually the most accurate historical book.
It's not. It's absolutely not. It's literally not.
Okay.
It's literally not. It's
I disagree.
I hear you, but you're disagreeing because of the fifis and your tum-tum. Literally, it's not. Harry Potter might be more accurate than the Bible.
Okay. It's the most. You can take religion out of it. It's one of the most historically
historical.
accurate,
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You want to name me one historical action or event that happened in the Bible, or that happened in the Gospels? How about that?
Well, the death of Jesus.
Okay, that's a good one. What about another one?
Wait,
I
so
mean,
are
the
you just
Roman.
saying a
I mean,
person
it's all
died is the
about.
most historical thing? I'm like, wait.
Yeah, there's like so
Yeah,
many.
you can bank on
She
somebody
mentioned the big
dying.
one.
Oh, so the Roman Empire. I mean, everything about the Roman Empire
Well,
is
like
historically accurate.
So, by the way,
Santana said,
in order to establish the truth of Christianity, you have to literally provide evidence of, like, for example, a miracle, not just Jesus existing as a person or dying on a cross. Those are things that are done by human beings that have existed throughout history, not evidence of there being some sort of God that, like, literally can walk on water or turn water
Well, he
into
just asked for
wine and
historical
raise
evidence.
from the dead like a zombie.
"Wait, the
He
Roman
asked
Empire
for
was
a
also
dude
around with like
died.
Jupiter. So I mean, like, what's your point about gods?"
What are you trying to add? All you asked me was if there was a historical moment that was recorded outside of the Bible, and I said,
Yeah, you named one. I mean,
okay. And
like big one, right? But you couldn't name any other ones. You named the Roman Empire.
well,
Like, okay,
everybody started
then
talking. The
I
Dead
wasn't
Sea
talking. I was
Scrolls.
listening.
I mean, the Dead Sea Scrolls. They all were found, and they were found in completely different places, all saying the same thing.
Oh, okay. So then, why do the Dead Sea Scrolls, like for example, in the book of Isaiah, have 30% more than what the Bible has?
Because there was a whole process on what can be canonized and what can't, and those ones that didn't get put in the Bible didn't meet the
Wait,
qualifications.
hold on. Wait, hold on. The Dead Sea Scrolls are older than any text that we have of the Old Testament.
Right.
By like centuries. Why aren't we using what's older to like use as like what was actually true?
Because what happened was, the reason it didn't make it in is because when the author there was a certain amount of years between when the author who wrote it versus when it was written. And if it was over, I think it's like 400 years, then it's not, it doesn't count as canon
Well,
of the actual.
okay. Well, then you're saying that, okay, I don't understand what you're saying. If the author has been gone for over 400 years, then we can't take it seriously. That's what you're saying, correct?
Not that we don't, I mean, I still read those books. I'm not saying we can't take it seriously. It just can't be canonized into what's called scripture.
So then why do we canonize every single book of the Old Testament since every single book is over 1,000 years old? Why do we canonize those books? Why do we canonize Genesis? Or like Exodus or Leviticus?
Because they were written.
Why do we canonize any of them, right?
Because
like,
they were written. The author who wrote them, it was within the amount of being canonized in the
You
year.
think the author of Genesis was within the limit of canonization when the Dead Sea Scrolls quotes Genesis 400 years before the author even lived?
I'm not sure.
I don't understand this logic. Like, how can the Dead Sea Scrolls be not relevant, but they quote Genesis, but the author was born within the time of like when it was said to be sacred?
Who was the author of Genesis?
We don't know, but the very traditional author is Moses.
MAGA church lady, you getting cooked.
No, I'm not.
Okay, hold on, Bailey. I seriously am not trying to like be mean here, but your line of logic, like about like a minute ago, actually did say, you basically said that the entire Old Testament can be thrown out because the authors all lived over 1,000 years before, like when it happened. I'm just saying.
No, I didn't say when it happened. I said when it was written down.
Okay, I mean then as
because
I said,
it was passed down. I mean, there were things that were passed down by mouth for a long time, like the Book of Enoch. It was passed down by mouth for about 700 years, which is why the Book of Enoch is not in Scripture. But the Book of Genesis, the Book of Exodus, it was under that 400-year thing from when it was written to who wrote it, or to when it happened.
Then okay, and this is my last point. And
if there was a story word of mouth passed down since literally the beginning of America, would you accept that story as true?
It depends. If there were multiple people stating that it happened and there were multiple writings of it, yes. Because that's what the Bible is. It's multiple. They found multiple writings of it all across the world.
But all the writings are from hundreds of years after it happened.
Right, but they were all in different parts of the world, and they all said the same thing.
That's a new criteria.
That's what makes it so amazing, is because it's written. It was all of the same thing. It was written and it was passed on correctly. It's the only book
but
that's
again,
historically accurate in that way.
Bailey, you still can't get out of the fact that the Dead Sea Scrolls quotes the entire Old Testament plus some, and Dead Sea Scrolls are the oldest texts of the Old Testament. By your logic, if they were repeated like over and over again, then what is said in the Dead Sea Scrolls should there be actually in the Bible, but yet it's not. And so why is it that survives, but the others didn't?
So what parts, I guess, are you saying didn't make it in?
30% of Isaiah. 30% of Isaiah is longer in the Dead Sea Scrolls than it is in any other text, right? But yet that is the most complete edition of the Old Testament that we have that is ancient. The most complete. We have over 90% of it.
Right. I don't know, and maybe it was because there wasn't enough of it found like across the board. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. I think you kind of understand kind of the like illogic nature of all this. So I mean, using that basic criterion is not good. But I'll let Parker take over from now.
I just want to know really quick: does she believe in Paul Bunyan?
Paul Bunyan. I mean, honestly, I don't even remember which one he was. I mean, I remember his name.
Parker laid out an amazing criteria about like a story passed down through the history of the United States that's been upheld and accurate in the actual passing of the story. Like everybody knows Paul Bunyan, right? So like Paul Bunyan has, by your logic, Paul Bunyan has to be true as well, right?
Well, it depends. Did hundreds of people write about Paul Bunyan for hundreds of years?
Yeah,
and
Paul Bunyan has been around forever.
And it was the same story over and over again?
Paul Bunyan, his axe, his ox, all of it.
I don't know. I guess it depends on the reason the story of Paul Bunyan was written.
All right.
I don't remember that story. I remember the name. I just don't remember the story.
Yeah, I've had it, Parker. Oh, he's zoned out.
Yeah.
Start talking about Paul Bunyan. Parker said, "I'm out of here."
Paul Bunyan and Parker like space.
Parker said, "I'm out of here."
My brain just ran out of the room. Like, that's what happened.
That was funny. You were like staring like into sun. I was like, "Yep."
I was
he has
in
checked
space,
out,
bro. I was in space.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened. So I guess where could we go from now at this point?
I do want to say, by the way,
I guess.
Yeah, I just want to say too, on the whole Venezuela boat, bombing. They didn't even notify Congress until like very recently, and when they did, senators from both sides came out of the like meeting saying that they were deeply unhappy and they didn't get a lot of answers. So even by the constitutional standards that only one branch gets to actually say that we're in a war or not, Trump is giving less than like actually good answers to that one body. And so you should be worried about that, because he has provided to us zero evidence of like who these people are, and all he's saying is that they're like terrorists or something, and we have no evidence for that. And yet it just keeps happening. Like it's happened 4 times now. 17 people have been killed, and we have no idea like if they're like just like base innocent, if they actually did anything. We have no idea.
Yeah, I do think that's concerning.
Yeah, and like my criterion is always, would you guys on the other side be in a real uproar if Joe Biden did this, or if like Obama did this? Would you guys be blowing the sound about how they're dictators now and they're just killing people and all this other stuff? Because I think you guys would be sounding the alarm.
I really don't know. I don't know how I would have reacted. I think for me, I'm pretty anti-war, so I'm against all of both sides. I think all the way back to George W. Bush, which is when I was younger. I mean, I disagree with all the war stuff
We
we've
share
done.
your anti-war
So,
stance, right? But like, why is
right.
the president getting to decide whether or not we're in like an actual military conflict? Like
Hmm.
he's just giving an order saying now we're in a conflict, and by the way, this is now a new military conflict that did not exist prior. So he has opened up a brand new face of like military conflict. You guys cannot claim anymore that he's anti-war or that he like like trying
No
to solve
new
all
wars.
conflicts.
No
He
new
he
wars.
actually started one.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's concerning.
Yeah, it's very
I
concerning.
don't
Okay, Susan
disagree with you on
Collins,
that.
Okay,
we get it. We
let me
get
ask
it.
you one more question, and then I'll leave it. And I think this is a good question. If Donald Trump continues on the same path, okay, that he's doing now, and it even gets worse, but let's just say that it stays the same, and we're 1 year from now, will you vote not in his interest? Basically saying, would you vote for the opposite party to keep him in check?
No, because I didn't vote for Donald Trump fully. I didn't vote for Donald Trump fully because of Donald Trump. I mean, like, it, for me, I'm seeing the whole picture of things. I think that our government system, the reason I first voted for Donald Trump, I think our government system was very corrupt. I I I believe that both sides, like I said, were being bought out by war. Um, we
You
were
basically want to burn it down, and I'm very critical, as is Parker and Santana, of people on the left who say that let's just burn it down, and I think people on the right who say let's just burn it down are like equally wrong. You cannot be okay with the systematic harm that he is causing to millions of Americans. Like he and the Republicans are this year letting millions of people lose health care coverage via the ACA. He doesn't give a damn about it, right? Like people like my mom who's on the ACA, she's going to lose her health care coverage because she can't afford it anymore, right? He is systematically for every single day and every single week and every single month he is making life harder and worse for millions of Americans, and you won't even put in like a simple check, like just like one party for like one house, and that's too much.
honestly the things I see on the left are worse to me. So I just think
Uh,
Like what?
that
Like what?
that's where I'm at. Well, obviously, just
I bet she's gonna go down Transphobia Avenue.
I'm not actually because I think gay marriage should be legal. Um,
Gay marriage has
okay,
nothing to do with
I mean that's
transgender
good, but
people.
That's fine.
I'm, just,
So
what?
I'm middle
so
of the road on a
what's so
lot of
bad?
things.
What's so bad on our side?
I mean, we talked a little bit about it. I disagree with the policies of the social economics and everything. I disagree with obviously abortion. I really don't want to argue these things. Though. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I want to get into this. But I
Because here's one question I could
I
ask, because I want to get off here pretty soon, because I've been over 5 hours and I'm
me
definitely
too.
starting to get really tired. So I guess here's my point: is that do you think that just because something is sinful, it should be illegal?
No, but I think abortion is beyond that.
Okay, so you essentially are picking which sins you think should be illegal and which ones you think should not be illegal, correct?
Well, I mean, we
Based on
do
your
already
own position.
Murder would be a sin, and it's also illegal, right?
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, we
you
do
would
that
say
already,
I
right?
understand, but I'm just saying that that's your perspective. It's not based upon your religious view. It's based upon your own personal individual view, correct?
It's based on human rights.
Okay. So then specifically I'll ask you this question. So why do you think abortion is wrong in the first trimester?
Because so here's where I'm willing as someone on the right, I'm willing to have exceptions if that will get us somewhere. But I believe that all ending of a life is murder.
Would you make all of it like illegal, like all of it?
Not illegal. I mean, well, yeah, I guess illegal. I don't want people to go to prison for having abortions
No,
or
no.
like,
I'm asking.
you know,
Would
Wait,
you
you
make
just said
every single one of
abort.
the exceptions illegal?
would I make what?
Every single one of the exceptions illegal.
No, because I said I would be willing for there to be compromise in order for us to meet somewhere.
How do you
I,
feel
I
about
know I
how,
know in America we're not going to ever get fully 100%
how do
abortion
you feel
completely
about
criminalized.
how do you feel about drone striking fetuses?
Yeah, I disagree with drone strikes. I already said that.
No, the fetuses specifically.
Well, yeah, fetuses. I will tell you this. I did IVF for my children to have kids, and I completely disagree with even destroying embryos. So
Oh, so okay, so
I
IVF
believe
in
that's
general,
killing them.
well, IVF in general, you think probably should be banned because the
No,
average
I disagree with that stance.
think the average patient, right, discards multiple zygotes and embryos.
Right. I believe there should be reform, but I disagree with IVF being banned. I disagree with my party on that. I know that they've started pushing one way, and I've stood up against that.
Okay, so then you don't think it's just because it's life. So is it wrong for if I had in a petri dish a zygote, I slap that zygote to kill it for TikTok and YouTube content, right? Do you think I should go to ban or should I should go to prison?
Only if it was illegal, but I don't think that's illegal right now.
Okay, so you think I could commit murder under your worldview and I shouldn't go to prison?
Well, I'm saying if you were criminalized for it, I
Do
do
you
think it's
do
the
you,
ending of a
here's
life.
the question.
Here's the question.
Do you think I should be criminalized for it?
No, because that's where I'm saying I think there's exceptions. I disagree with it. I think,
Exceptions? How is there an exception for me slapping a zygote on a stream?
Parker's new exception. I just slapping the shit out of a zygote.
well, I'm
As
saying,
long as you don't drone strike the zygotes.
Yeah, don't drone strike it, Parker.
I'm
Just
saying
slap
right
it.
now, people are destroying embryos. So at this point, right now, no, you would not go to prison. But I do disagree with with them being destroyed. I don't think they should. Here's my thing. It's not that I don't think they should be destroyed. I don't think they should be allowed to make that many to begin with in the beginning. So when you go through
They have
IVF,
to in order to make it viable.
they
Like
don't. They
without it.
don't because
Well,
I've
actually,
been
they
through
do. You
IVF.
can't just take one and make sure that one implants. The whole reason
Yes, you
why they
can.
do it is because it's very expensive, and they want to get the best bang for the buck in case some of them fails. Because even when you implant them, there's no guarantee that it's going to sit. It might miscarry. There are like many reasons, which is why you have backups.
Right, but if you're for universal health care and covering all of that, then it wouldn't matter on how much it costs, right? If you're
Hey Bailey,
for,
No, it still costs a
because a
lot. It
lot
doesn't
of
matter
health,
who's paying for it. It still
no, a lot
costs.
of places cover that, and
And
so
if you believe
I
in universal health care, you're not a Trump supporter. There's no
no, I
way.
don't believe in universal health care. I'm just saying if you believe that people should have free access to all of this, then it really wouldn't matter the
Wait,
price.
You don't.
Bailey, you do know that the single greatest, well, actually, There's two great ways to reduce abortions to like extremely low levels, and that is to have universal education and a robust universal healthcare system to make sure that every person has access to healthcare and they don't have to worry about it. So they're not afraid to go to a doctor to get birth control or to go to a doctor and get seen and ask questions when they have a fucking $20 or $30 copay plus their deductible plus their like co-insurance.
Right. I
also
guess
mandatory vasectomies. Don't forget about mandatory vasectomies.
I just for me, I live in a state where we have a healthcare system that covers the majority of people that would have an issue, and because it's poverty, low income healthcare, and then we also have. I was saying earlier, I live in the Cherokee Nation, where basically everyone in our town has free healthcare. So I do see that here. I don't really.
You've said that now the same thing since we got on the live. I don't think this has been productive. Is there anything else you'd like to say before?
Bailey, I really hope, Bailey, this is the last thing I'll say, Parker, and I promise to shut up. I really hope that you'll see the harm that's going to happen over the next year and that you continue to listen because we'll be sharing stories from people who are actually impacted by all this stuff and that you will at least vote in somebody who can at least put a check so that it's not as bad because you've agreed that several of his policies are like pretty damn bad by your own standard and yet you can't see past it. So I just implore you to maybe listen to the human stories that are being harmed here and that you make the right decision next year.
Okay. I just think we view things completely differently. So that's why I haven't even really tried to argue it. I think we just see things totally different.
Well, we do, but I think there's a sliver of like hope for you because you see how things are bad. You're just not willing to like go the extra mile. You're not willing to like realize we on the Democrats, we have like anti-abortion Democrats on our side. I can name you people who are very religious and very anti-democrat, and yet we still welcome them into the tent, right? Just because you have differing opinions doesn't mean that we want to actually be it's like have you to vote for the other party. We want you to vote for us so that you can join us to make this country better because that's what we believe in, and that's what we show to be true.
But
And
that's
right now,
not what
all
the
evidence
party
shows
says.
that fucking Congress is just like flat out like just wrecking this country.
Well, you guys cancel and kick out your own people so much. Like I think that that's what is really hard about the Democrats is people don't feel like they can join if they have middle of the ground beliefs because it's getting so
Wait,
radicalized.
so are the Republicans. Trump has prosecuted people who have been middle of the ground, who have said bad things about him.
Trump's whole
Trump has like
cabinet is middle of the
weaponized this.
ground.
Democrats have never weaponized it in that way where we've gone after our moderates or our conservatives. Joe Manchin is doing just fine right now. So I don't know what you're talking about. Donald Trump is using the DOJ to go after people who are actually very conservative, but they're just anti-Trump. And so don't tell me about the party is like being cancel culture when fucking the entire like Trump and everybody else are like trying to systematically cancel people in both the media and in government.
Also, I'll just like to say, like the Democratic Party, Democrats, and we may have differences and we may disagree on certain things, but you know, we kind of draw the line at cooing the country. You know, we kind of don't want to overthrow the government and you know hang the vice president and stuff like that. We're just not good with that. I mean, you guys might like it, but we don't want that.
Yeah, I think for me, I just believe that there's so many things that in our government system built in that need to be torn down, and that's what I believe is happening. And I think I think we're in the process. That kind of thing isn't fun because it does cause it causes strife, and I think that that's where we're at right now. But I think we're all in our beliefs. We're all more unified. I mean, we all want for the betterment of the country. We all want better.
That was
Look
God
at
intervening.
Jeebus. Look at Jeebus.
Yeah, we agreed. That was God intervening.
And so I
Okay.
think that that's where we're, you know, we really do agree, but it's just so polarizing right now because there's so much being torn down that needs to be torn down, in my opinion.
Because
You're voting for the people who are tearing it down, Bailey.
Yeah, you're literally voting.
I'm
for the
sorry,
guy
Bailey,
who's
but that's the
polarizing
truth.
country.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I think
that's
it
the
needs
truth.
to be torn down. That's what I'm saying. There are things that need to be torn down.
Didn't you just say they're tearing it down?
Bailey,
Yeah, I
I'm
said it
sorry.
needs to be torn down.
How is it a good thing for tens of millions of people to lose their health care in this country? How is that a good thing? Like,
Because
please
it makes
explain
way
that
for
to
a
me.
better. It makes way for a better system. I can tell
They
you.
You're
don't
willing
have
to
a
let.
plan
Okay,
for
I'm
any
sorry.
system.
You're willing to let people die and get sick with no health care simply because you are hoping for a better system. You're hoping that like something will come along.
Well, I can tell you
Where's
personally.
Where's Trump's health care plan?
Well, I
Where's
can tell you
Trump's?
personally, I have not had health care in 5 years.
That's
Because
awful.
no, it's not. I've managed because it's ridiculous.
No,
No,
you
it's
shouldn't have to
ridiculous.
manage.
With healthcare, I would be paying $2,000 a month or more for my family, and so I
And
had
you
to get off
shouldn't
of
have
it.
to. That's our point.
Right?
You're making our point.
Because the hospitals jack up. They jack up the bills. I think that big pharma. I think there's things like big pharma that need to be torn down. That's ridiculous to charge $40,000.
Torn down? What are you now like on the left? You want to tear down private institutions? Like what are you like? You're all over
No,
the
they
place.
shouldn't. They shouldn't have a monopoly, right? I think.
We have anti-monopoly laws.
Yeah, but it's happening. It's happening in our system.
Donald Trump is trying to deregulate those as well.
Yeah, I don't know what you're like. We have all these things in place and everything. Like you recognize problems, okay?
So you
sure.
don't think-
I don't
you
like
don't
big
think-
pharma either, but we shouldn't tear down the single greatest like sector of modern
what, chat?
pharmaceuticals.
I think we should like regulate the pharmaceutical industry. You know?
Yeah, maybe we do that. Like let's heavily regulate it and make sure that it's following by the damn rules. All the reforms, Bailey, that like you want and that you want to see better in the community, we agree with you. Let's regulate the shit out of it.
Yep.
Right, and that's why I think you guys don't realize how close you are to what Donald Trump actually believes.
He doesn't want to do that.
I really do
He said
think
he
I
said
really do think
what?
y'all are
He
polarized.
said concepts of a plan for healthcare. What was his healthcare plan?
Well, you know what he did last time was he made hospitals have to tell the amount of what something
is, like,
costs. And you know what
It
practically
doesn't make it cheaper.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does,
No,
because
no,
then I can
okay,
go as
is there,
someone
is
who
there
doesn't.
very much evidence that indicates that? And also, like,
Yes.
where is this
Yes.
for us to be able to find?
As someone who doesn't have health care, I can walk in and say, how much would it cost for me to get this MRI done here?
Oh,
And I could shop
how is the
around.
100% increase in tariffs on pharmaceuticals? How is that helpful for people who need need medicine?
I don't know, because I don't know much about the tariffs, to be honest.
That's one of his most signature policies. What is
To be fair,
happening?
To be fair, she doesn't know much about much. So
Bailey, I'm trying to meet you halfway here. Like, I really am. I think you agree with us in principle on some things, but like, you have the wrong approach. Like, and now Jesus is taking away your like. So okay, now he brought it back.
Someone
Hey,
mentioned in
hey,
the comments about being native. That doesn't mean I go to them for everything. I just want to say that. It's like I said, it's hard to get in. So
You're a native.
yes,
Okay, I didn't know that.
Is there anything else you'd like
but
to say before I go on to before I not go on to the next person before I get off for tonight?
you could call it a wrap.
no, I think I'm done. Thank you for the conversation.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And for
Have
being
a good night.
respectful and all
Of
that.
course.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Alrighty, everyone. We're gonna get off for tonight. My brain is cooked.
Yeah.
Absolutely
was-
cooked.
That was weird.